Alrighty, we'll see if we can get everything going here. Let's see here. Okay, now that we got that working, everything looks like it's doing okay. You guys can definitely hear me. That's always a good sign. Let's see here. Well, it's not Minecraft. Can't fly. Okay, looks like you guys can at least hear the game. Go ahead and switch to the game, and we should be all good to go. Okay, we've got that. That's all working. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so right now what we're working on is we are working on the smelter. We're at the smelter here and we're working on the yard because it's making me mad and I gotta rework some of it. So everything's kind of tore apart here. I have been doing a little bit of off-camera work, as you'll see kind of over there. There's some stuff over there. But that'll be all really explained and shown in the next episode. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this. Okay. Alright, and then we're gonna go ahead and take our this type of rail and we're gonna go about right there. And I'll work with it this way. Awesome. Because the way that we used to do this kind of seems the best way to do this yard, and just this part needed to be better. So we're taking that into account here. Okay, so I would say we could probably knock that off, and then we could probably just use this type of rail. If we can actually get a hold of it, that'll be nice. What is your problem, my guy? That's right, where that incline switches to flat, so I'm assuming that probably will have something to do with it. More than likely. Okay. Make that transition as smooth as possible for that. Okay, so now that we've got that all working, why are you doing this to me? I bet it has something to do with the fact that it's still in the... Yeah. Alrighty then. This will be fun. Have to figure out a way to get across this iron ore over here. Turn it a little bit more. There we go. Try to keep it nice and flat and level. And then we don't want to let go of this, whatever we do. That's a pretty good sign. Okay, now we can switch to the other type of track, and we can get this end over here situated. Okay. It actually works out really well. It's almost kind of like it was made to do that. Alright, so we've got that line going through there. We've got the switch for it back there. Now we need to run the other main line for the actual sell point to the iron ore. Oh, jolly. Okay. Which this one we should be able to get away with just using this track anyways. We want to make sure we leave enough room. So in case we do have a train sitting on one and we have another train coming in trying to sell on the other side, stuff doesn't happen. They're not waiting on each other. Plus then we're not trying to switch over here, which allows to have a straighter hookup point for selling the stuff, the goods. I want to make sure we still get it pretty close. Then we'll work this to that. Awesome. Okay, that should work out pretty well for this side. So we're going to go back to basically this way of doing it. I think it just does look a little bit better though with the stone like that. And I wish it was the different track type, but now obviously eventually it's still going to go above the track there, so we're going to have to keep that in mind for when we get to that point. Okay. Check out all of this, because I don't think I need any of this over here. I don't know what any of that's actually for. Check out that. Because we don't need this track over here. We're redoing all of it. So what I did is I did a test run from the iron mine to the smelter here, and we ended up facing the completely like wrong way for everything to access the loop, all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna come back to here and redo it. Which we've got to be careful because the main line is also over here that we've got. Oh wait, no, it's not. The main line's right over there. The main line's all the way over there. Then what are we worried about? When I clear this valley up a little bit, I might leave the track over there just for a second to kind of give me an estimator of where and how I am. We'll go ahead and get rid of some of it. Yeah, I started demolishing a lot of this yesterday off camera, just kind of demolishing it, taking it down, trying to rework it a little bit. Okay. Another thought is we can make the loop go the other way. which I think would be a lot better. Other than the fact that we're completely switched, this switch right here is completely on the wrong side to go and loop that way. Although we could change that, I suppose. It would give us more room. We gotta be careful how far we go back. Alright then, so I think maybe we should try to flip this switch over here to where it's a right switch instead of a left. Hopefully it doesn't throw everything out of whack when we do this. Well, that worked out just fine. Alrighty. That means now we can make our own loop around and have our loop coming around this way. Okay, we'll be gentle with the turn too, so we're not turning it too rough. So lighter cars is gonna make it a pain. Okay. Awesome. So now we've started our return line, which means we've got to figure out where we want this to go back into and where we want it to tie back into over here. We got to kind of picture this. If if we put it right here, we'd have to move that depot, but if we put it right here, I think be pretty good, because then we would be able to just come straight back in, or we'd be leaving out that way and we'd be coming in, and we would have to find a way to get that line to somehow connect into, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out all as we go. That's why it's in a live stream and not on a video, because I have no idea how I'm doing this. Okay, let's see if we can get this lined up a little bit better. Something like that, I would suppose that would work just fine. We're lined up pretty good for the most part, so we'll just not do that. Means we're gonna have to slowly work that into that one. Like so. I don't know how we're gonna do this. That's a lot rougher than I want to be dealing with. Okay, so that's straight. Now if I turn it, see, then it does that. Unless we move that switch back, but then that fucks everything else up, so I don't know what I'm doing here. Unless we move this switch down, which if we move this switch down too much farther, we're going to end up hitting that thing over there. So, see. So we got to kind of avoid that, and we can't move that switch, change what side that handle's on because we've got the other track right there. So we're going to hit that. So we've got to find a place to put this switch to where we're going to avoid that handle, but also give us enough room back here to maneuver around or to the switch. That I think we could probably get away with. I think I could probably work something out. We will see. It's going to definitely be a rough corner to try to squeeze through, but I think we can get it. And I'm not so worried about the track not lining up, or not the track, but the groundwork not being level back there, because this is just an outline. I'm going to have another layer on the inside or the other side of me to actually give it that distance that we need. This will just kind of let us work an outline of how we want to be able to run this track through here. Try to keep our grades pretty minute. Okay. And we'll try to angle it that way a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Okay, we'll cut those trees down. And we'll cut a few more of these trees down over here. Okay, so now I've got to figure out... Alright, so this is where our switch is at. So we take this. We'll run this, and since it's low to the ground, we can get away with a pretty good, decent amount of distance away from each other. Keep them the same height. Oh, turning. We were turning a lot there. We're really going to try to run that track down the middle of that, where that kind of that crevice is. So really where I think I want to try to run it. And then towards this curve here, we might change it up and move it to the outside to see if we can't make this corner a little bit gradual for the trains and the cars. Okay, let me see here. I want to see if this is even going to be possible before I start hooking up the other, like the other line there. So there's no point in hooking that up if this isn't going to work. Okay, so we'll gradually just have to nudge it. Okay. And then there's the corner coming up, so we want to get prepared for that now. So we're going to start cutting it as soon as we can, which will be here in about a few seconds. So far looking so good. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to squeeze back through there. And obviously we'll test it after we get done with some cars, mainly the caboose, because I think the caboose is going to be a big problem. Okay, so we want to start turning that now. Like so. Keep it gradual, or as gradual as we can. If we use longer pieces, then it'll bank it a little bit better for us. However, longer pieces tend to be more of a pain to lay down. It's actually not that bad of a corner. I think we'll finish our groundwork then. So we've got to figure out, well, again, we'll use the outline, so we'll go about right here, and we'll just use an outline to see where we need to take this. Okay. Just, oops. Okay. Now, since that's the outline, we know that the outside's going to be a little bit less sharp. And that was like the super inside. So now we've got this one that's got to come through here. Okay. And then just because I know it's helpful making the area that you're trying to lay track as wide as possible while you're laying it. That's more than likely where we're going to end up putting the chart. Well, no, not really. Okay. So now we will remove some of this track over here. We'll start about right here and work our way towards that dude, and we'll stop in the straight if we can find one. So really not the best place to start trying to turn. We're really going to want to try to keep that as casual as we can. Okay, and then we will rework it like that, which will kind of make one corner less sharp. So we'll see. just work it in like so. Okay, so now what we'll do to fix this little pop right there is we'll take that out and we'll run a new piece of track since we've got everything kind of angled the way that we need it to be angled. So now that's when it comes to us to be able to eyeball it into place and make sure we get it in there good. Okay. That's the tree. I think that one should be fine, yeah. Come through, make sure we don't have any super insane. Which I don't think we really do, so we should be good there. And then now we need to figure out a way to get the return line for the iron mine in here. Especially since once we hit this part right here, we can no longer be on this side of the switch. We have to be on this side. So somehow we have to cross over. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me see here. Because it's on that side, unless I don't cross over. But then if I don't cross over, that's still a lot of elevation that I have to figure out how to lose. It's like if I take that bridge out over there and just head straight this way, that's still a lot of elevation that I have to lose. And that's a pretty steep downgrade. And it's not like I can take and really go that way and then come around this way because the main line's right there too. So I'd have to cross over the main line again or go under it, something, and I don't think that's going to be possible either. So we have to stick to the side that we're on. Except somehow I got to get that to tie back in, and if I would have left the switch there where we had it, it would have been fine, but I decided that we needed a loop there that wasn't going to benefit what I was actually trying to get it to benefit. Other thing I could see possibly doing, and this is a big maybe, because it's going to mess up that corner significantly, but doing a switch to the left right there. And then we would definitely have to rework the groundwork for the main line. By just a little bit, because we could get it to come probably back facing this way before we even know it. So we will find out, I suppose. Will just give us plenty of room. Again, more room doesn't hurt. And then we'll also tuck these two switches in here as well. There, we might as well just go all the way out there like so. Alright. Now it's gonna be time to rework that. Oh, jolly. Jolly, jolly, jolly. Just have a feeling that we're gonna have to come down at a 4% grade. Like so. Then we'll give ourselves a little bit more, because I don't know how much we're really gonna need here. We'll go and do something like that. And I think we're gonna have to work it from the switch side, because we really can't start turning immediately after the switch. So probably be better to start it off from this side. Presume. Start off with a short piece though. Okay, and then I know better to turn it that sharp. And then we'll try our best to follow within this middle groundwork here. All the way up. And that's the best we got. So now we'll go through here and work on this straightaway side and connect it up on that side. We should get a pretty smooth connection, I would presume. Because we can start turning that now. And the smoother that we can make this transition, the better, because that's also on we're on a pretty decent grade here. So we want to make sure that connection goes in smoothly. Make sure this is going to go in smooth. Yep. Okay. Now that we've got that reworked in there, could give ourselves a little bit more space with that corner, which we'll probably end up doing. Just to help with this little turn over here. I have a feeling that it could get pretty sharp and hectic. Actually, why is that so straight? Okay. Alright, we'll see if we can finally get this to work. Even better. Off the little dude. That doesn't look too terrible. I mean, there are some spots that we definitely will have to go back and fix later on, I do believe. But overall, that shouldn't be too bad. I almost feel like we could probably get away with a nice like 15% or degree corner there. I really want to try to rework that because it's not that smooth. I mean, it'll work, but it's not necessarily the smoothest thing in the world. All right. Okay. So I think a 15 should work just fine. And we don't got to worry about this track here because this track is going to be gone once we get those cars moved off of it. Okay, so we'll start the alt and we'll try to do a 15. We might have, well, let's start with a 25% corner. Okay, so when we get to about right there is when we need to, I guess, turn it down to a 15. You don't really want to stop turning because you get a head start on your corner, but at the same time, you're coming at it at a really not so great corner. Ooh. Oh, come on. Alright, let's see how that looks. Got a pretty good turn there. And then it gets sharp. But then it kind of stays that same, just degree of corner somehow. Right there. Might be a hiccup. Other than that, that should be pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Now that means that we gotta work this side and start placing the groundwork for this side, and then we're making some real progress here. With that being said, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna place this in here. Without making it too sharp. Groundwork's never been my strong suit by any means. Seems like a pretty good turn. I'm gonna take our bridges, start working our bridges down. So this will be all no more. And we'll work that bridge farther down. because I really wanted to work it this way and come along this way, and then it'll connect into that. We'll see. Floating track for a bit, but it's okay. Okay, so that should give us. Oof. Okay, so we'll go right here, and we're still gonna drop it at that lovely 4% grade that we were dropping it at. Except this time, we're gonna run it. Try to get it down and run it pretty low to the ground. About right there will work. And then we will figure out what grade or what height we need to be for the lovely track over here, and then we'll call it good. I feel like I've reworked this area like 18 billion times, and I probably have. But once we finally get to a spot where it's really nice, it should be pretty nice to use. I straight up passed it. Forgot this was us. Okay, so we'll run. Just kind of like so. And then we'll go straight. Okay, so that actually transfers really well. Okay, so that could be a way to do it. And then we can tie that dude, since he's, let's see, he's selling, or he's picking up, and if we're picking up from there, we want to go back onto the main line and out, not towards the iron mine. So if we tied it back into this, it would just take us back around, and we don't want that. So we're gonna have to tie it somewhere else. It's gonna be one more hectic switch over there in the weird cross thing that we got going on over there with all those switches. 800 different switches. Oh, cute. Okay. There we go. We'll let it kind of even out, and then we'll go ahead and switch the track to make sure that we've got a smooth transition all the way through. Now we can just pretty much run this all the way through and through. And we're super low to the ground, so that makes it nice. Bad thing is if it snows, like, and actually starts building up, we could be looking into some problems with that. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh, I think I messed up my... Yeah, I definitely did. I'm gonna have to rework that. Got distracted in something else, and it didn't go so well. Okay, so we're coming around like that. We might actually want to work that corner from this side. Might be a better alternative. Ooh, that's not fun. Okay, so we'll run on the furthest point that we can with the ties anyways on this groundwork. And we'll trust that the groundwork's not too sharp. Okay. Uh, I don't think that's gonna work that well, but we can hope and see. We won't stress about it too much until it doesn't work. We've seen that it doesn't work. Now, how are we gonna get the other side over there into this mess? My question. So we don't want it connected into the return line, because if it's connected into that, again, you come down the return line, you come through, or you'd have to be coming from that way to go in, and then you would get shot back this way, or you would pretty much any way you go, you would end up getting shot back that way if you used that. So we would have to figure out another way for that to work, unless we switched that into there and then used that track and then had a switch right about here somewhere, and then we ran it, and then we switched it back into this line over here somewhere right before it starts going up, and that's where it would get really risky. We could do it that way. Problem about doing it that way though is we're in the middle of a corner when we come in this way. We still got elevation there where we're straight, which kind of sucks. And we're dropping elevation still in the straight. We're not. So we could potentially, I guess, presumably do something with it. But it's where it's going to get risky. Because this would be our best alternative. And I really hate putting switches on bridges like this, but oh well. Okay, and then we can run this track. I don't think that's gonna work because well, that might work actually. I think for once the switch actually hooked up the way I wanted it to. Legit. Okay, so we're gonna use this through here because it gives us more of a area to walk on. Run that right there so that way we have something to walk on to hit this switch with. Okay, and then what we're gonna wanna do is we don't want a flat right there. We don't want a flat surface because if we put a flat surface, then I mean, you're going at an angle like that. You hit a flat surface, it's not going to go well for you or anybody else. So we've got to find something. I think we're going to have to go down. Still at a 4. Kind of line up with it. I don't know what it's trying to do there. Okay. So at a nice 4. I'm going to try to follow a nice path in. Just going to go straight. To there. Wow. We'll back it up a little bit because we don't want to go right into the mountain. Which backs all the way up, of course. Okay. Bam, straight off, and bam. Okay, so now we can follow this middle groundwork here, and we can run down our 4%. Like we are, and we can still turn it. And we don't have to worry about mix match and layers or anything like that. We just got to keep in mind that we still got to get turned. And we can probably even get it down to a nice 3%, which will get us to right about there. And then that should give us enough, like the right level to connect it into the rest of our track. We can probably keep that tree there too, to mark that there's a split. I think that would be very helpful. As long as we can get this track by it, we shall keep it. If we can't, then we'll have to fix it. But I think we'll be just fine getting around that. Okay, and then we'll angle it something like that. Okay, and then we'll come from the other side. Since we have the appropriate height over here, we'll figure out where we want to deattach it, like switch it out. And then we need to find a place where we can switch that track in. I think what we're going to definitely do for sure, let's grab from back here. I'm going to run path through here. Somewhere through here is where we're going to be switching it. Okay. Alright, let's figure out where we're going to put this switch. Now that we've got some groundwork kind of backing us up over here, I'm thinking right in this little section we do a switch to the left. If we do a switch to the left, we can get outside. Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be our better bet without messing with that corner. Okay. Oops, wrong switch. Better bet, I think, is probably lining up with that side since we don't want to mess with that side. And then, oops, no. So we can fix that and always move it around if we need to. Now that we know that it works, that's where we want everything. I keep on grabbing the wrong switch. The sooner that we switch it back here, the sooner we can get it turning that curve exactly how we want it to be. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is not that. We're gonna grab our groundwork. We're gonna come off just like that. And what that's gonna allow us to do is put a switch in here for that dude, and we're gonna do just like so. Which then means we'll come in here and we'll go ahead and delete this track. Pull that up and just like so. See, as you're working on a yard, everything you just work on one bit and then you work on it, move to the next bit, move to the next bit, and then eventually you'll find yourself reworking another bit to make a certain bit work. Okay, I did not do that right. We're gonna definitely have to come from a way different angle than what I did. all the way up to there. Head straight across that like so, and start turning it. I left a gap. Bam. Okay, so now that's all coming in smoothly for that switch, and then we should be able to work that into there, and then we have a pretty decent yard over here. I mean, it's not the best, but it will do for sure. Okay, and we'll run it, and that lets us run it at a pretty low height through here, which could be a good thing or a bad thing when it comes down to this side over here. And with this all being said and done, we're gonna have to rework a little bit over here. Okay, so we've got that coming in all nice and smooth. And then we can start dropping down after that curve while we're selling, so then, or picking up, so that way we can just use, yeah, brakes for it. Brakes and gravity. Okay, that's a bridge. Okay, so we're gonna drop it by 1%, because we don't really need to drop it by a whole lot. Just enough. To do something like that with. Okay, and then when we do this, where is it? It's right there. Okay, so we're gonna start. Oops. We're gonna start it in the middle, and we're gonna do something weird, so that way we don't forget that there's a little bit of a gonna be a little bit of a hiccup here there. Okay, so we've got that. The hiccup's there. See how far we can push this out. There we go. So that gives us that long of a piece to smoothly transition into our other side here, since they didn't completely match up. As you can see, that track should be flat, that track should be flat, that track's basically right where the hiccup is. Okay, so now I think we should be close enough to those to be fine if we're going to pick up from them. So we're going to run this steadily nearby it. Okay, now this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. But we've done it once before, so we should be able to do it again. Bam, that's a pretty smooth transition in. We'll come through, turn through this turn right here. And that doesn't seem to be too bad. We'll have our little downhill spurt. And then right about here somewhere we'll have like a little uphill. Start about right here. We'll go through a little uphill. We'll hit flat. And we'll stay a relatively flat pace for the rest of the yard until we get to, well, past the switch. Okay, and since we got a straight going on here, we're going to leave that dude there, and we're going to let the switch decide where we need to take it, because we have no idea where we need to take this. Okay, we'll run it in like so. And bam. Now that is a little bit of a weird turn, but I think we should be fine considering that that's mainly in a spot that's not going to be traveled on a whole lot. However, we do have issues. We have had issues in the past with something like that, so we might just take a quick second here and just try to help it out. So we might be back fixing that later, and I'd rather not do that. Oh, I just took out the spot that we worked so hard to try to cover up. Oh. Went through all that effort to try to help myself, and I just completely destroyed it. That'll work. That will definitely work. So we've got the secondary line all hooked up. Got a primary in.
had to take coffee break there.
All right. So we'll hook up our main line right over there, and then we'll start laying in the groundwork and finishing the groundwork for the what's-my-collie. Oh, I don't like that. And bam, shazam. We've got that connected. And then the final piece. So that looks like it's, for a second there, oh wait, hold on, what are we doing? What am I doing? I need to extend this out wider. That's actually pretty nice. It works out a lot better if we do that, because we get it down pretty low. But that should keep it the same height, and then we'll just stick on that outside curve at the best of our ability. So that'll give us the widest turn. Okay. Start getting it turned. We are turning it. Try to smooth out for that track over there. Okay, so now we have, that's all hooked up. That's that's hooked up, and that's hooked up. So we've got technically two loops here. One for, well, if you're on the buying or whatever, so presumably, like, I'd say, oh, but the big question is, how do we get to it? Because if the switch is setting facing the wrong way on that side, we'll have to flip the switch around. Sweet. Oh, this is so confusing. Hmm. Yeah, we need to find a way for people coming from the freight depot to this way. Which I will have to just think about and figure out, see if I can come up with a way to get it in there. But I am going to go ahead and start stopping the live stream here. It was fun hanging out with you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video, and as well the next live stream. We will have, on Friday, we will be having our Railroads Online video coming out for sure. And then Monday will be Minecraft again. And that'll be a cycle. But, alright, you guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you guys want to see more, hit that subscribe button.